Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. In today's video I'll be showing you how to make this adorable little pumpkin that you can attach to your pet's collar. This is made using the very well known Celtic knot, which can be a little bit tricky, but with some practice I'm sure you'll be making loads of these in no time. Let's get started. To make our pumpkin you will need a metal loop. Now the one I'm using is a little bit big for my taste. I've probably used one about a ½ inch wide. I'm also using 1 to 2 inches of green paracord, 2 feet of orange paracord. You will also need some scissors, a little metal spatula if you have one, or a teaspoon works just as well, a lighter, and a paracord fid. This is optional, but it is always a useful thing to have. So first you're going to take your length of paracord, and close to one end you're going to make a loop. And then you're going to make a second loop that overlaps just slightly, so you have 3 spaces here. Next, I'm going to try and lie this down so you can see a little bit better where everything goes, because it is quite a tricky knot. I'm going to take my long piece and I'm going to go over, under, over, under. I'm going to go over the first, under the second piece, over my third piece here, and then under my final piece. Now I'm not going to tighten this yet, that comes later. But I am going to just bring it through because I'll need to bring it round to create our final section. So bring it over, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go over this first piece, but under these two and up through this space here. You can eventually do this with just 1 foot of paracord, but for this video it was just impossible to show you, which is why I used 2, and I recommend 2 until you get the hang of it. So now it is just a case of tightening, so what you want to do here is just follow your strand around and tighten as you go. Now don't tighten it all the way, because what you're going to create now is your loop that you will hang on your metal loop that you'll attach to your dog collar, and you also want to leave space to add your stalk, which is what the green paracord is for. Now we're going to create our loop by taking one of our strands and putting it through the centre, and you'll know it's through the centre because it'll be coming out the same space as your other strand. Now don't worry about making this too long or too short at the moment because you can adjust it. I'm going to keep a bit of length on it at the moment because I also want to add my stalk, which is where my little green paracord comes in. And if you have made this too tight, this is where your paracord fid would come in. I'm just melting the ends here so it makes it a bit neater for the finish. But like I was saying, if you've made it too tight and you have a paracord fid, this is where you would use it to thread your strands through the centre. But if you don't have a paracord fid, you can just loosen it a bit. Now, place this through the same space as your orange strands, and you just want to pull this through until you're happy with the length of your stalk. And a little tip, just because I'm a bit picky, decide which bit's going to be the back, and I would put the green towards the back, because otherwise when you melt it you will see it from the bottom, you'll see it at the front, and I learned this from one of my own, so that's just a picky note. I would get the knot under your belt before you start. So now as you can see, I'm just tightening everything off. Again, it'll be strand by strand, just going round, pulling anything loose and working my way around the entire knot. And once we've completed this, we will adjust our stalk and our loops, and then one last step. And there we've created our little pumpkin. Now just the final step of deciding the length of your loop, deciding the length of your stalk, and then we're just going to cut and melt the ends. To finish off, I'm going to start with my green strand. I'm going to separate that away and hold my other strands. I'm just going to take my scissors, and I like to leave about ½ centimetre, 1/4 of an inch, and I'll take my lighter and just melt the ends. And this is where I have a little metal spatula, came with my paracord food set. You can use a teaspoon just as well. I'm going to press this melted cord into some of the orange toward the back again. And this just helps it adhere so it doesn't come away. And now I'm just going to do the rest of the strands. Make sure you've got your loop the size that you want it. So I like mine fairly short because it is just going on a metal loop. But if you would like yours to hang a bit more, you can make it longer. Just going to cut these strands like I did with my green. Oh, and a little tip I didn't give at the start. My green strand, I actually took all of the inner cords out, so it's hollow, whereas the inner cords are still in the orange one. Press these down. Again, press away from the front till it's adhered to the cord. And there you have it. You've made your own little pumpkin. So I'm just going to take my metal loop here and attach my pumpkin to it. It just threads on really easily. If you do struggle with metal loops, you can add this on before you thread your cord through the centre to create your orange loop. And that just makes it a little bit easier, but this loop was easy enough, so I just thread it on at the end. And you just add this to your collars, and there you're done. If you liked today's video, please like, comment, subscribe, let me see what you've made, and I'll see you in November for another one.